Good evening.
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 Hello, everyone.
That's right. There's 4 of us this evening. There's 4 of us. Four down and outs.
The gang is back together. We got the girls' side and then boys' side.
We have. Hi, William. I hope you're doing well there.
Hi.
So we've got myself, Dan. We've got Viv. We got Jamie or Parker, and we've got the lovely Lois tonight for you. So you've got a full squad in this evening for a chat about. Well, we're going to talk about all sorts of things haunting as we always do, or unusual or supernatural. And tonight we're going to talk about my hometown where I was born and brought up. And at the apt time as well, we're going to talk about the Enfield haunting. It was all kicking off when I was a kid, and it was literally just around the corner from where I was born and raised.
Many moons ago.
Many moons ago. Many moons ago.
I would have said you were only 21, Dan.
Again.
Awesome cart job on it.
I hope you're doing well there.
Hey,
So we're going to talk about the Enfield haunting tonight. But before that, I want to ask everybody how their week went and did they have a good one? Everybody?
Not really.
No, Jay didn't. Jay definitely didn't. Are you at liberty to tell us what happened, Jay? Or
yeah, I got rushed to hospital. Suspected chest pain, so I suppose it's a bit of stress, stuff like that for what, starting a new job, stress, home life, family. I'm going through a bit with my dad, but at the end of the day, I'm still here. I'm all good. So I just want to thank you guys for the support and love that I got over the week. It does mean a lot. So thank you ever so much, guys. I really do appreciate
it. Mate, you're welcome.
Get
just glad we're just happy you're okay. That's all we're happy about.
I'm sound, man. I'm sound as good.
Cock a hoop, mate. We're cock a hoop over that. So that's good. So Jay's back on the path to, yeah, it was me. I would sneak around the early hours of the morning. And what I'll do, Williams, I would throw big stones at their windows. And here, hiding the bushes going,
hi, Gary.
As is the customary noise for a ghost, apparently.
Do you do that to Lois? Would you do that to Lois?
Of course, I do it to Lois every Friday night.
Poor Lois.
I would rather
throws a shoe out.
I would rather have it every night, Dan, but Friday nights are good nights.
I can't afford the fuel, otherwise I would do it. Hi, you Gary. I hope you're doing well, buddy.
Yeah,
meet halfway over the wall.
I'll be behind the wall.
Hiding. Ready to go. Boom.
Exactly. So yes, how did your week unfold? Lois, is it good or was it indifferent?
Yeah. All good. Looking forward to obviously seeing you guys as always. My Tuesday with my dudes, and I mean Parker. Always a pleasure having a show.
There's always a downside to these things.
He did miss Vickers and Tarts night though, didn't he? So
I know.
Yeah.
I did watch it back. It sounded quite funny. It was quite good, but.
It was so funny. I think an hour went by so quickly, and then another hour went by so quickly.
It did.
Like,
it did.
2 hours.
It did.
Very quick. Very, very quick.
And young Vivian, what about you? How did your week unfold? Was it good, bad, indifferent?
I had a good week. I took the grandson out. We went over to Ely, and we had a picnic right by Ely Cathedral.
Oh, lovely.
And they had a theatre company was nearby showing Alice in Wonderland, but we didn't do that because Darren would have disrupted the play, so to speak. So we didn't bother going in. We just fed the ducks and the swans on the river there. He's got no fear. We had to strap him in the pushchair in the end because he would have been in straight in the river. So
typical boy.
Yeah, typical boy. But yeah, keeping me on my toes. I'm getting old.
Good.
That's what they're for. Isn't it?
Do you want another one?
Fit and healthy. Do you want another one?
In what respect?
You can have mine, or I'll come up to see you.
God. I don't know what's worse, Jamie or his son. No, his son. His son's quite good.
Definitely, Jamie. So this
feeling this
evening,
out
what are we
now.
talking about, Vivian? What are we talking about? I've mentioned it. What is it?
We are talking about the Enfield Poltergeist.
We are
So
talking about the Enfield Poltergeist.
it happened a little while ago, but not just the fact that it's right on Dan's doorstep where it happened, but the fact that it's my ultimate hero who literally piqued my interest in the paranormal, which is Maurice Grosse. So I was quite excited to talk about it, and especially about Maurice himself. I've got some pictures. I was going to download. I've got an interview. It's a very old interview. It's on a tape cassette. I was going to download it, chop it up, and play excerpts from that interview, but it was a lot of hard work, so I scrapped that idea, and we just got some pictures, some black and white pictures to have a look at as we're going through it. So I'll put them up as and when, Dan, if you want to start it off. And
Yeah, it was. I was a kid at the time. I was probably 6 years old, I would imagine, 7 years old. And my interest in the paranormal had already been piqued anyway, because it was something that I'd been ever since I was a little dot, as far as I can remember. Like you guys, like a lot of people that are involved in paranormal, it's something you can't remember when it happened. It was just seems it's something that's always been there. It's always been an interest. And of course, my mother was an ardent paranormal follower. She absolutely loved stuff like that. And so the first I knew about it is that there was these whispers going around that there was this house, which was probably about half a mile, maybe 3/4 of a mile from where we lived. And it was in all
Von,
the...
sorry, Von, I hope
right.
he's okay. Just go to your husband, and we'll catch up with you soon. Just
Oh,
hope
yeah,
everything's
Von,
all
I
right.
hope he's okay.
Yeah,
Make
I
sure
hope
he's
he's
all
okay.
right. And
Oh, hope he's all
make
right,
sure he's
Vaughn.
taken care of, and take care of yourself as well. We'll see you when you get back. Hope all's well. So, yeah, so getting back, I remember it happening, and I remember all the sort of fanfare that was around it. But we didn't really have an insight into what was going on there until some time after, when the book was published, and that was published by not just Maurice Grosse, but it was also published by Guy Lyon Playfair. Now, the thing about Guy Lyon Playfair is Maurice was he got into the paranormal. I think it was through the death of his daughter, wasn't it, Viv?
Yeah.
I think that was the one that piqued his interest, and he wanted to see if there was any truth in sort of the life behind death, as it were. And so he joined the what was it? It was the Ghost Society, and it was something else, wasn't it? He joined London,
the London Ghost Club or something like
London
that.
Ghost Club, yeah. And one of the first cases they gave, not one the first or one of them, was the Enfield Poltergeist haunting. And so he turned up and he assessed it, and he saw that there was stuff going on there that he couldn't quite get a handle on. He couldn't quite understand, and it was a little bit beyond his understanding at that point. So he wanted to get somebody else in who was well versed in the paranormal, and so he went for Guy Lyon Playfair. Now, Guy Lyon Playfair had a pedigree within the paranormal that was sort of second to none. So
he was a newspaper reporter, by right?
He was as well, yeah, he was. But he'd written books previously on magic and the occult, but it spanned Africa, South America, Central America. So he'd stayed in a lot of these villages and he'd studied it. And he came to the conclusion that a lot of it was trickery, although there was stuff there that you couldn't actually find an answer for.
Do you want me to put the picture up of him now?
Yeah, put a picture of Guy up. That'd be great, please.
Bear with me, caller. I'll see if I can get this done.
So was Guy the investigator that went to the Enfield hauntings?
Guy went in as an equal. He didn't go in. I mean, he was called in because he could specialise in things and he could smell a rat. And they thought, and I think it was that, I think that Maurice Grosse felt that there was another element needed there. Somebody who dealt with something in a lot deeper research. And so Guy came to the front. He came to the fore. And he concluded that there was stuff going on there. Initially, I think he thought there was some trickery, there was some skullduggery and all sorts of stuff. But very quickly, he realised that this wasn't the case. This was a real bona fide haunting that they were dealing with, or a poltergeist situation they were dealing with. And so the further it got into it, the more Janet and there you go. The more Janet started to become possessed and taken over by this entity. And eventually the entity, it spoke, and it spoke through Janet. and it spoke in a way that could. A lot of the people that did the research, like vocal research and stuff like that, and scientists, they said there is no way that voice could come from a young girl. There's no way. And even if it were to come from her, within literally less than a minute, her voice box would have been totally destroyed for life. So she couldn't do that. Eventually, as it went on, things might have died down ever so slightly, and then they did find the girls were kind of playing it up a little bit.
If you see the picture, can you just let me know?
Yeah, oh, sorry, Viv. Yeah, we did see it. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, we did see it. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, we did see it. And so that was Guy Lyon Playfair. Was that Maurice Grosse as well there, Viv?
Yeah, I'm going to get it up again. Bear with. You keep talking. You keep
Was
talking.
there more like about 30 witnesses to the Enfield?
Well, very good point. Because a friend of mine was a police sergeant, not at the time. This is some years after, and he was based with the Metropolitan Police, and he was in Enfield. But as he was joining, there was a woman that was leaving that was actually the policewoman that entered the property of that house in Green Street. And she saw the activity happen firsthand. So what she saw is she saw things flying around the house, things that were sort of semi-floating, stuff that was thrown at her, and a chair that was pushed across the room. So she'd actually experienced all that. Police got out there quickly because it was a case of what we're meant to do. There's nothing we can do here. Yeah. This is sort of beyond our remit. You know, we don't understand what's going on. And so Maurice and Guy Lyon Playfair, they sat down and they did the most in-depth and probably ardent and I would imagine clinical investigation of that property that they could. And they concluded at the end of it that it was paranormal activity. In turn, it was a spirit of what was the guy called, Bill, Viv?
I've just put up a picture of Maurice, and I believe that's Guy there.
Was it more? I think the guy's name was Bill Wilkins. Was it was it an old man?
I think you're right. I think you're right, actually. Yeah. And he came forward and he told his name. And he also explained to the people that were there, explained to Maurice and he explained to Guy Lyon Playfair, amongst others, that as far as he was concerned, he fell asleep in the corner of the room in his armchair. And then he'd had a massive, I don't know what happened to him. He'd had a brain aneurysm or something. And he passed away whilst he was there. And of course, he's come round and there's different people inhabiting his property or his home.
Okay, for people that don't know, on the left-hand side of the screen, that is Guy Lyon's Playfair. And on the right hand of the screen, you can see good old Maurice sitting there with his hand in his, well, it looks like the waistband of his trousers. And I think that's one of the family that own the house. They're one of the children. So that is that picture, everybody. Okay.
Now, Maurice was a bit of a no-nonsense guy because Maurice was ex-RAF, wasn't he, Viv?
Yeah,
he looks it,
as is denoted by his moustache.
He looks and like military.
He wouldn't take any crap. But he was a very nice guy, from what I can make out. The girls ended up loving him. They fell in. They absolutely idolised him. And when he left, it sort of broke their hearts. But I think he did keep some sort of contact with them over the years.
So was the house? So it was obviously like back in, I reckon it was built like 30s, like in the 30s, wasn't it?
That's exactly what it was built.
It's a fort, because I know as you was talking, I don't know nothing about this, but it feels weird because I've seen like the house, so it's like an old obviously it's a 4-bedroom semi-detached, isn't it?
I'm not sure. I know it's a 3-bedroom. I'm not sure if it's 3 or 4.
Yeah,
roughly. I can tell you that. But I know it's a detached house. Yeah, it's an old council house, but it was built in the 30s. Because the thing about Enfield is where that house is, you got the Royal Small Arms.
Right.
And the Royal Small Arms during the war. Yeah. That was a major hitting point for the Luftwaffe.
Yeah.
So a lot of the buildings around there would have been flattened. So they would have reconstituted it with sort of 40s council housing, 50s council housing.
Mm-hmm.
So
see, that's what was in my mind, because I used to wonder about, obviously, when I first heard the story, was what was it built on top of? Because you find many places that are built on top of something.
Around there, it would have been farms. It would have been farm fields and that. But the fact is that the spirit that inhabited it, which was Bill, would have been from when that house was built. So he would have probably been maybe one of the first inhabitants in there with his
Mhm.
family, and sadly passed on in that property. I don't think there was anybody there when he passed.
No.
Um,
Right. The family, they lived in this house, and the girls, you can see by this picture that they shared a room. The two girls shared a room. Typical girls' room, 2 bedrooms, not much room in there. Posters on the wall. Rather than seeing the famous picture of Janet flying through the air, I've opted for this picture where you can just see the 2 sisters being normal sisters asleep in their bed with not much going on. That is what their room looked like.
Yeah, that's it. Normal girl's bedroom, as you say, Viv. Pictures of David Soul and Paul Michael Glazier up from that period, obviously the 70s with Starsky and Hutch. Loved
I was
Starsky and
trying to make out the posters actually.
Hutch.
Do you know
But
what?
yeah.
If you look on the right-hand side, up, you can see a packet of Embassy Number 1 there.
Can you?
Packet of cigarettes.
Do they even make them anymore?
Yeah, they still make them. Yeah,
Do they?
yeah.
But why? But I don't know why the girls would have a packet of cigarettes on the wall. I suppose they've had clippings out of magazines and stuff. So
It looks like kids in the 70s. We didn't have the like posters like they got today. So everything we had, we cut out of magazines and newspapers, didn't we?
Yeah.
and the bottom right looks like a packet of cigarettes down there as well. The bottom left, sorry, yeah. So I don't know what the girls were doing, but that's their thing. That's what their bedroom looked like, a normal
kid's bedroom, isn't it? Just a normal kid's bedroom. And
I have got a picture of their kitchen, I believe. If I can find it, I will show you. But Dan, you carry on in the meantime.
No, the interesting point is that the police that went in there was more than one officer. There was a male officer as well. It might have been 2 actually, and 3 females, so 3 officers at one point, and they all couldn't wait to get out of there because there was nothing they could do. It was beyond their experience. There was absolutely nothing they could do, and they swore to the day. I mean, I don't know if they're still around now. They may be, they may not. I don't know, but they swore till the end that there was no skullduggery going on, that there was no way that what was going on there was possibly anything to do with the child's actions, and it was something that they'd never experienced before and hoped to never experience again. But it all seems to emanate from this one guy. Now, when I don't know if there's any truth in it, but I believe that they located the son and they played it. So the son didn't want to know anything about it to begin with. And then eventually they got the son and sat him down and played it just to see if it was his dad. And he said, yeah, that's my father. That's his voice. But he didn't want anything to do with him. He didn't want anything. So I don't know whether that speaks volume as the guy as a father. I don't know. But there was definitely, if that is the case, there was definitely something not right going on there. They didn't, if they weren't that bothered about their father.
There's a lot of hate then, really, towards his father.
It seems to be. If your parents in limbo, one of your parents or family are in limbo, no matter what they were, well, within reason, you would do your best to try and help them out, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
If it gets to the point where you're like, yeah, you know what, I'm not dealing with him, didn't like him when he was alive, not going to deal with him now, then there's something not quite right there. But it's very sad. But the spirit itself did seem, I mean, I don't know, it seemed quite vindictive and nasty, didn't it, Viv? But then that might be through frustration.
It could have been.
So this house, is it still like?
Yeah,
it's still
there. It's still in the hands of the local authorities, and they've still got a family living in there today. But since that family left, there's been no actual activity that's certainly not been recorded on any level that you could research.
So do you think it's actually came from?
But nobody said anything.
Do you think it's actually came from one of them, Dan? If it stopped,
they might have been a conduit, but I have no idea. I wouldn't know really. What do you reckon?
There'll be another picture coming up in a minute.
There's Morris. What do you reckon, Viv?
Well, for listening to going back through the research and listening to the tapes from Morris and the interviews that he had going backwards and forwards with Janet and also with the entity itself through Janet's voice box. He was across the road in the grave, and he just happened to see Janet, and he liked it there. That's why he was there. That was his house. And he was just an ignoramus, basically. He was one of these people when he was alive that was, I'm right, you're wrong. And that's how it is, and get over it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And the fact that he could use Janet's voice box to communicate and to do certain things, she was just used as a tool. So that's how I see all that happening. She was just wrong place at the wrong time, sort of thing.
Well, I did some research on where he's buried, and he's not buried there at all. He's actually
not?
buried over the other side of Enfield.
Oh, is he?
Oh.
Yeah. So he's buried up where my family are. So where my parents are. So he is a good 3 or 4 miles from that property.
Yeah. There's Morris again. I love Morris though, Dan. Look at him. Look at
Oh
his
no,
mustache.
Morris is that proper gentleman.
No,
Wasn't he?
look
Really
at
nice guy.
He's sitting there. He looks like he's sitting there thinking, "What am I having for dinner tonight? I'm fed up with beef. Can I have chicken?"
I bet you he's listening to something. He's trying to take it in, isn't he? He looks like he's trying to take something in.
Yeah.
Is either that or he's fell asleep?
Yeah, that's what I think. He's got his hand in his pocket again. He's I'm looking at what he's wearing. He's got a tank top, tie, and a shirt. A nice pair of check trousers and a jacket. Dan, take note.
Very smart man. Smart man.
Do you know? I couldn't picture Dan wearing all that.
No. Well, it wouldn't fit me.
It's not becoming, is it? Not now, anyway.
I have seen people trying to replicate that on investigations. I saw a
Have
couple
you
of
really?
guys turn up one day wearing suits and ties trying to replicate it, and they just looked like twats.
No, you're
Yeah.
joking.
Yeah, no, they did. They turned up the equipment, suits, ties. One had a pipe, so they're trying to replicate the old ghost hunter. One
How
had a
can
pipe.
they,
They were
though?
about 18 years old, so they'd obviously got this idea, this Hollywood idea of a TV idea of what a ghost hunter was from that period, and you know, I mean, didn't Morris have a pipe? He did, didn't he?
He did, yes.
He had a pipe, didn't he? And so
He
did
did.
like Harry Price and all that. They had pipes. So I think what they were trying to do, they were trying to be throwbacks to an earlier time. But it's like you look at me and thought, yeah. Oh, well. But
I am attempting to share another picture, Dan.
Dan or Jan, come on, you want?
Dan. Well, Jan at the weekends.
Jan on Fridays. Ah, there's Janet.
Oh.
So, how old was she, Dan? Can you remember?
She would have been around about 8 or 7 or 8, my age, maybe 9. She would have been around about that. So
when that picture was taken, because she had an older sister, didn't she?
she did, and a little brother, I believe.
Yeah.
And I think it was just her mum, wasn't it? There wasn't any father there, I don't think, was there?
No.
But if you listen to the vocalizations and there was, as they said, for her, for a child of her, like a girl of her age to do that, it would have destroyed her throat within seconds. It would have absolutely wrecked it. And this was a proper vocalist. They got to listen to it. This an analyst, and he said you couldn't keep that up for more than a couple of seconds. But she was banging on and talking in it for like minutes.
An hour interview. There was an hour interview that Morris got with the entity.
And a lot of people, they say, oh, well, look, she's smiling, she's laughing through it. She wasn't. If you could see, she's a typical kid of that. She's got protruding teeth.
Yeah.
And so when she closed her mouth, it looked like she was smiling and whatever, but she wasn't. You know, it was just a case of what's the kid meant to do?
And if you look at her face, I don't know what you think, Lois. For a little girl of that age, she's got big bags under her eyes.
She has, but you would think because of the sleepless nights that she's had. I think what I read that was really, really disgusting, and I don't know if it happened about the time of this, was that they got a really hard time at school, and her brother was called the freak boy from the ghost house, and people would spit at him in the street.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I've got.
I think the whole family came for it. They were what you call a normal working. I mean, they were poor. They didn't have a lot, and even less so because I think it was the mum that was trying to keep the family together. But they were a normal family. But yeah, they were just poor, and I think people sort of victimised them because of that. Not that there were many people with a lot of money in the 70s. I grew up in the 70s, and I don't remember people with a lot.
No.
But they were particularly, I think, down the bottom or further down, and they came in for a lot of flack because of it. And it really wasn't. Later on, they said that there's, they said that there was skullduggery, and he even said it himself. Morris said, yeah, he did. He said, but he felt that the skullduggery was coming to the fore near the end when the girls knew that they would be leaving, and they wanted to keep them closer. When, however, that's for security, I don't know, because I don't know what happened. Apparently, there was stuff happened after they left and the girls grew up. I don't know how long it went on for. I don't know whether she's still suffering stuff today. But I would think
I know that. Sorry, on you go, Dan.
No, that's fine. No, that's okay, Lois.
Janet's younger brother, when I done my research, he died of cancer, and I think he was age 14 at the time.
Yeah,
Right.
I've got a picture coming up of all of them together, so bear with. It's going to take a while. Not very good at this, as you can tell.
I'm doing a bit of Jamie tonight. I'm making everybody seasick. Try to get comfy. But
I mean, you still. God, sorry, Lois. Go on. There you go. They're just normal family, aren't they? They're just normal kids.
Can you see it, Lois?
Yeah, I can see it. Sorry, I had just my mouth. I'm trying to go. But it does. It looks like a normal family photo.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? You wouldn't be able to tell. Like, I mean, I guess, like, for myself that doesn't really know much about it, that just looks like a normal family photo.
Normal family, yeah.
They don't look distressed in any
No.
sort of way. No, and you can see the two brothers there with the young, the two of them and her sister.
I take it she was the youngest, or was no? She wouldn't have been the youngest.
No, she would have been the oldest girl. I don't know if she'd be the oldest sibling. She might have been, but she was the oldest girl, definitely. Yeah. But the thing I think that happened there was that a lot of people called it out for it's. But I saw one of the final interviews, I think it was, of Guy Lyon Playfair, and he was angry. He was angry because people kept trying to undermine the actual seriousness of the haunting. And he said, you weren't there. You could not possibly sit. Talking about a paranormal psychologist, you can't possibly sit there, he said, with your hands in your pockets telling me that this didn't happen. You weren't there. I was there. I experienced this. And I guarantee you that the activity went on there was 100% real, that it was kicking off. And I mean, Guy Lyon Playfair was always somebody I felt was very level-headed, wouldn't get angry, could stand there and argue his corner without doing it. But this day he was proper peed off, really, really angry that they kind of tried to undermine it and play it off as something it wasn't, and say that the girl would fabricate it. And as he said, you can't. There's no way that you could. And when they speak to Janet today, which is very infrequently, you can still see that she carries the hallmarks of somebody who's had something traumatic happen in her life. So I think that scarred her.
It's not just Janet, though. No, Dan.
The whole. I think Mum's dead now, isn't she?
It's but it was the people in public service. The milkman saw things floating past the window that should not have been. The lollipop lady, the milkman, the postman. He refused to post letters there at one point because he'd seen stuff that he couldn't explain. And these were just normal service people trying to do their jobs, let alone the family and the people that actually physically went through it. And then you also have Bill's family, because Bill's son He came in and he listened to the tapes, didn't they? They
Yeah,
played
he
them to
verified
him.
it. That's my dad.
And even his side of the family also suffered, even though it was their father that was doing the haunting, if you like.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of aspects of this that you have to consider, and you can't say that he was an evil entity, because he wasn't. Bill was just a normal bloke. He was a cantankerous old bugger that happened to pass away.
Yeah.
So you can't say that it was an evil haunting either.
No. As far as I know, it was somebody. It seemed like somebody who was a bit peed off because somebody moved into their property. As far as they knew, they'd gone to sleep in the chair, woke up, and there's all these people walking around their house.
I'm going to annoy and piss off. Sorry, and I don't mean to. I do this with respect, but the American aspect of it. The Warrens had nothing to do with this case at all.
Absolutely nothing to do with it whatsoever.
They knocked on the door, and I believe it might have been Guy Lyons Playfair. Don't quote me. He told them where to go, because they knocked on the door. They turned up. They heard about this haunting because it went worldwide. They got on a plane. They came to England. They found the house. They had the audacity just to walk up to the door and knock on the door and said, I believe you have a haunting and you need our help. And they were called all the names under the sun and told to do one. And the door was slammed in their face.
Good.
And that is the amount of the extent of their involvement in the Enfield haunting.
But that's the one thing that annoys me about the Warrens, and all due respect to people that follow. I mean, I'm not a big advocate of them, to be honest with you. I'm sure they did a lot of good work, and I'm sure they but at the end of the day, I think the thing with the Warrens is, and whether it's them or promotion, they turned up at all these different hauntings that nobody's ever heard of them at.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we've got the same. We've got people over here, people I know over here, that would do exactly the same if they thought they could get away with it. So it's not just it's not just American. These are people that are just people. Yeah. Whether they're British, American, or whatever, you've got them all over the world. I know people that do exactly that to promote themselves.
Yeah. So all this that you saw in the film The Conjuring and the Enfield haunting and all that sort of thing, a lot of it is made up for Hollywood. And that they had no involvement in any way, shape or sound. So but they've written books, they've brought out a film, they've done this, that and the other, and they actually know nothing. They've based it on their research into Guy Lyons Playfair and Maurice Grosse. So I had to say that, Dan. And I'm sorry if I've offended anybody, if they're fans of the Warrens, but I'm just telling you a fact.
I mean, I thought she did something. Was it something Penn State, was it? Or with Ryan
Buell? Yeah.
Yes. And I must admit, she did come across as quite a nice lady, to be fair.
Yeah.
And she might have been a very nice woman. But whoever was promoting them didn't really do them any favours, I don't think.
No.
But she seemed like quite a pleasant lady, and very knowledgeable. But
Lois looks a bit perturbed.
Sorry, no. What I was doing actually there, I was kind of looking up something there about with the Enfield thing. See, when I do my facials, just slap me. Everybody says that. See when I'm on pure concentration.
What were you looking up? Tell us. What were you looking up?
Yeah. What did you find?
Well, it was just general reading. Because I like to talk about things, I like to make sure I'm talking the right things and not talking shite.
We don't mind.
One of the things I found funny was, and it did tickle me, and it was like, it was during the day, it was sort of during the morning, and the kids were going to school. So you had the lollipop lady who was she was kind of outside their house, because it was a school more or less opposite the house, like a primary. So she was watching across, and she said, I did this double take. She said, I was halfway across the road, I've got the kids. She didn't have looked up, she went, and there was Janet, she went, floating across the window. She said, no hands under her. She said she was just there floating past the window. It's like...
but you know, the people that turn around and say like, "Oh, this is fake" and things like that, it can't be, because see, at the end of the day, right? You've got police officers, right? So what would police officers gain by turning around and saying this
Didn't
is what we were witnessed?
didn't two of them that went in, they saw the marbles being launched across the
Yeah,
room from
yeah,
nowhere. Two big burly police officers stepped into the
yeah.
house.
They did that
See
around. They
these
got out there, didn't they?
see these marbles being launched at them from nowhere. They just materialised in the
They
room, and
saw a ball or something, or it was something, wasn't it? Like a ball or like a rubber ball, or whatever it was. But it was like just going around the room,
yeah.
and they've walked in and gone, "Yeah, nothing we can do here.
What?
Nothing we can do here. Bye.
Whoop,
Woo!
Chantel
Chantel
in
the
the
room.
house. Chantel in the house.
Yay,
Chantel. Jamie, what have you got to
So
say?
you could say falsio,
What?
Dan?
Jamie,
What?
Chantel is in the house.
I said hello.
You
Was
really
it-
need to get that shit
can blow her a
sorted for
kiss
Friday
if she
when you go,
wants.
what?
Yeah, do that. Chantel, we will slip in later for you.
Mhm.
You're not late. You're suitably early for the next one.
But it is a really interesting. Do you know what, guys? I'm going to be brutally honest. I tend not to watch films like that. Don't get me wrong. I do occasional, right? I watch your B movie, right? As I call it, the B movie, the found footage, and I'll sit there and have a wee giggle at myself and start having a rant and say this is not how I would do it, and I try and debunk it. Right? Knowing that the film's fake, right? And I've always. When people say to me about ghost shows, I've never even watched a ghost show.
No, you haven't
Lucky if
missed
I watched for, the first 2 minutes. I've turned it on, maybe if it's on Pluto, I've turned it on for a couple of minutes, and then I get
what?
freaking bored. And then I get bored, and then I'm like, I can't do this. Right. But for the moron translation, what that?
To be fair, ITV did a 3-part documentary series on it,
Yep.
and I watched it. And Timothy Spall, the actor Timothy
Oh, he's a great
Spall,
actor. Good actor.
he
Spall, yeah.
he did Maurice Grosse proud. It wasn't over dramatized. It was the story as was, and it wasn't done for Hollywood. You know, there was no big ghost scenes and things
I
like that.
enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching that.
And they actually did. They did him proud. The only criticism I have of that is they played down Guy Lyons Playfair's part in it, which I think they were just concentrating on Maurice rather than the two of them as a pair. It should have been both of them. So that was the only criticism that I had with it, because Guy should have had more of an input within that 3-part drop, you know. But other than that, I thought it was great.
Yeah,
it is the way that the British do things. You know, we're quite reserved.
Do you reckon
It
it's
was
on
good.
Netflix?
It was good.
Here's a question for you guys, right? And for everybody in the chat, right? See if we took Hollywood out of everything to paranormal, like The Conjuring, The Exodus. I can't say that word. Never mind.
Exorcist.
Right, and all the other movies, would people actually really be interested? Shut
Yes.
up, you.
Yes, I think so, because you've got the hardened people, the real investigators and researchers, not the glorified ghost hunter. Dan calls himself a ghost hunter. I know that he's not, because he'll actually do a bit of research and go into it a little bit more. But take the glorified ghost hunters away, you still have people within the paranormal field that were doing it 20 years ago, before you had all Hollywood and all this internet stuff, and people were doing all of that. So, yes, there are. The real investigators have gone a little bit underground, to be quite honest.
They have.
I, for one, I don't post anything that I get now on social media. You'll see it on Striking Midnight if me and Dan have been out and we've done some filming for that. But when it comes to the other side of things, I don't post or share anything with anyone because I just think the paranormal field in general is a bit of a quagmire at the moment. It's got a bit boggy with a lot of stale rubbish that's been thrown into the pond, and we need to hoist all that out, give it a bit of a spring clean and a spruce, and love the pond that we're in again, because I don't think people do.
No, it got to the point, didn't it, where it became so egocentric and so arrogant, and people became nasty, that it was a case of, I'm not sure I really want to be doing this anymore. But rather than move yourself completely from it because it's what you love, rather than move yourself from it because it's completely what you love, the next best thing is to just get involved with people that are like you and sit on the periphery and let them crack on. I mean, I've given up putting posts on Facebook about what do you think of this, what do you think of that, any ideas on what this could be, because invariably it'll end up with egos, and it ends up with arguments, and it ends up causing a free-for-all, and it's like, I don't want to be part of that. I don't even want to be party to it.
Healthy debate seems to have sort of gone now, Dan. People don't know how to debate. I mean, are they not teaching that the children in the secondary schools? Like, we had to learn how to debate, put your fors and against arguments up, but not actually get personal and argue with people.
I think that things like facts and science have become an enemy of society now, because people don't want to adhere to facts and science. They want to adhere to feelings. And with all the best will in the world, feelings ain't the way to go, is it? It's facts and truth. And no matter if you don't like it, there are things that I don't like and things that I hate. But if they're found out scientifically and they're presented to me scientifically or properly, then I'll take them on board. But I'm not going to listen to your feelings, and I'm not going to be dictated by what you think. And there's my truth, there's your truth, and there's the truth. There's only the truth. There's no my truth or your truth. There's just the truth. And that's what annoys me. And I think that it's become, I know what I'm on about, so therefore it's fact. Well, no, it isn't.
No.
I've done a lot of things over the years, and I've been in it like you, Viv, a long time, and I've made mistakes, and I'm still making mistakes, and I'm still learning, I'm still saying things and then backing back on them because I realise that
Tell the truth. Tell the truth. I'll slap you.
Well, there's that as well.
But the thing is, Lois, Dan started slapping me back, and he slaps harder, so I've got to be careful now. When I've got to slap him just at the right moment.
Everybody slaps me. It's a slap circle. I stand in the middle, and they just slap me round and round.
See, I would give him a hug first, and then slap him.
Do you know what though, Parker?
Thanks, William.
What two words should we not say to Dan?
What's that? Say that again, sorry.
Oh, I know where this is going to go.
What two words should we not say to Dan? Do you know?
I don't know, really.
He knows.
He's forgotten.
He's forgotten. They're on the back of a shirt.
Lois.
Yes,
These are the two words you're not supposed to say to Dan, because listen to his reaction. Go on, Parker.
Down the market, innit?
Down the market. Down the market. It's an old Seven Days song, but it's down them. What is it? Down the market.
Down the market.
Down the market, but we see down the market.
Yeah. I don't know what the village is called, but yeah, that was funny, that was.
Down the market.
Yeah.
I totally watched this interesting documentary. I meant to say to you guys before the show, see when we were talking about the alien autopsy the last time and whatever show.
The thing is, David, I don't agree with that. Truth is not subjective. Truth is the truth. There's no subjective about it. I don't agree with that. Sorry. Truth is truth. You can't be subjective about the truth because it ceases to be the truth.
No, I disagree with it as well.
A person's reality might not be your reality.
No,
I get that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that it's right, because
no. The fact is, there's only one reality. All right, yeah, there's different realities, but there's only one reality. Is not subjective either.
No,
you can't say things are subjective, because then you start saying words are subjective, and when a word becomes subjective, you can alter it to mean what you want, and then you can change the truth.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people with mental health issues, their reality is completely way off the scale. People that have things, things like what's that, split personality disorder and
Bipolar.
Emotional
not-
unstable personality disorder and
Well,
bipolar disorder.
I believe in spirits and ghosts, but I'm not saying that's a fact because it's not proven yet.
No.
This is what I believe, but it's not a fact. You know?
Dan likes the old slap and tickle. No, that I
Oh,
know
yeah, as
folks.
well. No, it's not subjective, slap and tickle.
No, I'll slap him. Somebody else can tickle.
Ooh, that's on.
Schizophrenia, yes.
That's the one, Robin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Schizophrenia.
It's there's only
know.
just facts and it's just science. Everything else is just to make you feel better.
And as well, you'll find as well that people in the paranormal field today,
What's an
I
NLP?
don't know what an NLP
The basic
is.
tenet of NLP is the map is not the territory. Reality and truth are subjective.
What's an LP? If you don't
Sorry, the
mind,
basic
David?
tenet of linguist what? Programming.
OMP is the map. It's not the...
I don't
And
care
it's
what that
probably-
says, David. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with that. There's just fact and science and my reality, your reality. There's only one
Neutral,
reality.
realistic
Mm.
programming is the way
Yeah,
of
yeah,
changing
yeah.
someone's thoughts and behaviours to help achieve. And I will tell people I did look that up because I didn't know what it was.
Here you go.
But it's not only that. I mean, people with a basic skill set. When I say basic skill set, it's people that have gone to school and actually got an education, that are able to think, that are able to know right from wrong, that are able to be objective and subjective, that are able to weigh up the pros and cons, that are able to seek for what they think is paranormal and then find a rational explanation for it. People don't do that anymore. People
No.
don't want to know. They just want the thrill of seeing a ghost or capturing something on film. Whereas they have that experience, just go and have and see, why did you have that experience? What could have affected that?
Yeah, exactly.
How could this have happened?
Yeah.
That's all gone out of the window now.
Exactly.
People
If I
don't do
drop
that
a load of
anymore.
mushrooms and I start seeing things, it doesn't mean what I'm seeing is reality. It could be
Yeah.
a direct,
Oh, thanks, Robin.
Yeah, she's
You know.
sexy as aloe, isn't she now? Look at her.
Still ginger.
You're just jealous.
You're going to get a big slap. You know that, Jamie, when she sees you.
It's okay. I'll just let him off with it because in his condition, I don't want to say half his ticker.
Carry on.
Do you know what,
Thanks,
Lois?
Kelly.
If you can't punch him in the chest anymore, I'd kick him in the ghoulies, you know. That's what I'd
Ooly
do.
goolies.
I know.
It
Just
don't
give him the
work
ghoulies.
anyway, so what's the point?
That's another show, Jamie.
But no, I think like this is me as a person. Like I think like the ghost hunters and stuff, they want to be ghost hunters, but people like who did the interviews at the hauntings at the Enfield hauntings, these guys were specialists. So as me personally as a specialist, I can't say it.
Specialist.
Someone that's
Specialist.
got a degree in what they do, then I will listen to them because they've got some knowledge about what they're talking about. Do you know what I mean? So it's not, oh, we'll go to the ghost hunt and then we'll do this, we can do that. You know, they spent years and years and years in universities and stuff like that. So that makes them something that you can talk to. You know, you can take as much information from them guys as you can because they've studied in, you know, that was probably a study at the Enfield hauntings for them, you know, maybe an investigation, but they were probably doing a study on, you know, people in that situation.
I think Maurice Grosse was not an expert. He had just literally joined the paranormal, the psychic, was it the psychical, the study of psychical research?
Oh,
As
okay.
it were, right? So he'd only just
Sorry.
he'd only just joined, right? And because he lived closest, he had
Yeah.
no experience at all. They sent him to that case, and then they sent Guy Lyons Payfair to go and assist him. Guy had more experience, and being the reporter and all the rest of it, he worked for a newspaper.
Okay.
He had more experience at it than Maurice Grosse. And yet, the way Maurice conducted himself, the way he prepared himself, the precautions he took, the equipment he took with him, the discussions that he had with Guy behind the scenes, and what went on with their thoughts and chats with one another, far outweighs the paranormal investigator of today, because the investigators today, they won't do that. They just want this quick fix. They want to see something, and then they want to post it all over social media. They're not actually investigating the case. Why, when, how, who, what's the point of it? They're just not doing it anymore.
Right, I see what you're saying, David, and I do agree with you that it is interchangeable in respects that times do change and science changes and perspectives change. But I think we're coming at this from two different angles, to be honest with you. Science doesn't. It isn't set in stone. You're absolutely right, and it does change. But until it changes, then I'm going to stick with the reality that it's got a foot in at the moment. It could change, and it probably will change, but I don't think it changes that much. I don't think it changes. I mean, the understanding that we got of physics is always interchanging because different thoughts come forward where they change the whole. But as a physicist will tell you, you can take numbers and you can make any sum out of those numbers fit your remit. It doesn't necessarily mean it's right or reality. It just means that you can take those numbers or specs and make them fit the idea of what you want it to fit.
Yeah.
Things do change, and of course, it's the same with spirits. I'm sure one day that what we call the supernatural will just be the natural. In fact, I think it's the natural now. But it's just our understanding of it isn't up to the point where it should be. What I'm talking about is people's perception of telling me things that I know are wrong. So telling me, for example, things like, well, today I'm going to be a duck, but tomorrow I'm going to be a person again. Sorry, don't buy into that. No matter how much you want to change the boundaries of reality or perception, I don't think you can change them that much without seeing a psychiatrist.
Dan,
so that's where I am on that.
In confidence, why did you have to tell everybody?
Dan, we got 2 words to say to you.
I do agree, David. You're right. I do agree in that respect.
2 words to say to you, Dan. Quack, quack.
Quack, quack.
You're quack.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? They're
No, but I understand
exactly.
that.
William's right.
Yeah, Jill. Totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. Yeah. And she says that people rely on apps too much today.
Yeah, they do. Absolutely. They absolutely do. Yeah, I agree, William. I agree. It is just natural. I think that people have fell out of step with it, I think.
Well, Jill, you can tell Dan to duck off. We don't
Everybody
mind
else does.
We just say it anyway, Jill. So
yeah,
no,
they're not even nice to use the word duck. They put an F in front of
it. Just don't say down on market, because then that just
down on market.
I love when you say that. I can listen to that. Just send me that in a voice clip. Oh,
I will.
In fact, I sent you something, Dan. It was a dog. I know this is totally off topic, right? But I sent you a video of what I seen today, and it was I think it was a lab, like a white lab, and it was mothering 3 tiger cubs, and see the 3 of them together. Oh my god, it melted my heart.
Oh, sweet.
Do you know what, Lois? You want to get Dan to send that to you down and mark it on a voice message. So
I will.
Oh yeah, please.
So you can download it to your phone, and every time you get a text message, it shouts to you down and mark
down
it.
And mark it.
You know when you come down here, we are going to take you to Down and Market so you can see what's there.
Oh, that would be awesome.
It's not a lot there anymore.
Oh, it's funny. Oh, sorry, I'm getting a hot flash. Getting a hot flash.
So what else are we talking about this good evening?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we missed any questions in the chat?
I don't know. I don't think people were.
I don't even think there is any questions tonight.
No.
No, not a lot.
Apparently, we are not reserved people.
Well, that's true.
Well, you're just you, Dan. You're just uncouth.
I'll bring everything down to scum level.
Oh,
Damn, market.
we have missed a question.
Have we?
Aye, someone says, "What is Parker saying?" Don't know.
Parker,
What?
somebody's asked what you were saying.
But I was kidding on.
Yes.
He's asking.
William said that the girls, yeah, they did, William. They did. They said they faked some of it. And that's what we were saying, that was what Maurice Gross and Guy Lyon Playfair had said, that they admitted to some of it faked, but that was near the end of the investigation when they think that things were tying up and that they were going to leave. So they were a bit concerned about being left on their own. And I believe they moved to Southend, didn't they, Viv? I think they moved to Southend, didn't they? They relocated.
Janet is still, well, all these years later, I think
she's still in Southend.
Southend.
So yeah, so they moved out of it and away from it. Not too far, but far enough to get away from Enfield, I would imagine, for them.
Do you think though they've said that because the pressure's been too much when you get like the press in your face and putting things in front of the paper? I think
didn't Janet Dan will answer this, but I'm sure that Janet had to go into hiding for about 20 years after this.
She did. She was hounded, wasn't she?
She was hounded big time.
Hounded. She was absolutely hounded to the point of where she just went off the radar, didn't she?
Lois, read that out.
Scottish way, not down ham market. What?
Dan.
What?
Listen to Lois. Say it again.
Not down ham market.
Down a market. So Gary says, do you think that puberty had something to do with the Enfield hauntings?
No.
I honestly don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't think so at all.
Good question, Gary.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't know. I mean, they would have been coming into it that. Well, I don't know. It might have been a bit young, actually. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't think it was at all. I think people put this thing about puberty, girls going through puberty is the reason why all this. Do you know what? I wish people would stop doing that, because that's not the case at all. Not in all cases. Very few. You know, what happens to the people that have the same experiences that are in their 40s and 50s?
Well, yeah. Well, exactly. And you saw that the investigators were experiencing stuff there when the girls were absent.
Yeah.
So there was still stuff going on there in the absence of girls, because they moved them out of it for a bit, didn't they? To get the house almost clinically clean and clinically locked down so they could do their experiments. So I don't know. It's an odd one. But I think the thing that has always not shocked me, but made me particularly suspicious about the paranormal in a lot of these properties, not the Enfield one, because the Enfield one is documented from that time period. It's been locked down now. We know about the Enfield one. It's world famous. But all of a sudden, there's these houses like the Poltergeist house which I've done on a few occasions, and I've done that with just two of us, and we've absolutely had nothing in there.
But in that though, Dan, did you notice though the claims?
I think it's bollocks, Viv, because I've never heard of that house.
But it's very similar to the claims are very similar to what happened at Enfield, like the marbles that were thrown and by unseen hand. Well, that happened at Enfield.
Yeah.
The little girl was attacked in her bed. Well, that's what happened to Janet. Then somebody else got thrown across the room. I think it was Janet's sister. She did experience something, not as much as Janet though, but she did have something attack her. That happened at the Poltergeist house. So it's on a mirror image. The only difference is they put the monk in there. And the monk had nothing to do with the house. He's down at the Abbey, which is way over the other side of town.
See, that's the thing I couldn't understand as well. It's like, well, if this house, the Enfield house, all right, I was born and brought up around there. I know about that because it was happening at the time that I was growing up there. So I was there when it was happening, right? And but that was nothing. I mean, lots of people that you speak to anywhere, you talk about the Enfield haunting, and they'll talk about hauntings, and they'll automatically, well, mostly automatically bring up the Enfield haunting.
Yeah.
Nobody, until it came on the market, ever brought up the Pontefract haunting to me.
No.
It was never a featured scene. And then all of a sudden, these houses that started to spring up, well, this house has been haunted since the early 70s, and dirty, and you think, well, I've never heard of this house before.
Anthony says that he found that house active happen even in the daytime.
Oh, what,
the Pontefract house?
It might have been, Anthony, your experience might have been totally different than mine. I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm saying that for me, we slept there, two of us, and we just locked down there, slept in different parts of the building, fell asleep downstairs, and just nothing. We didn't get anything. Whether anything had happened while we were asleep is open to thing, but we didn't experience anything. I can't speak. The Grey Street's one of them that perplexes me from the point of view that this came out of nowhere.
I can tell you about De Grey Street. There is absolutely nothing that goes on in De Grey Street. That man needed help in paying the mortgage for reasons beyond his control. To say that was haunted was a way and an income. To be honest, the house is not haunted at all. But his garages or the buildings that are behind are very haunted, but he can't let public in there because it's not safe to. But as for De Grey Street,
yeah, I don't know about De Grey Street.
Well, I don't know nothing about it, to be fair.
It was one of those buildings that cropped up, and it's like, well, hang on, where's this come from? This is maybe a poltergeist haunting. I've never heard of this before. And it's like, I've been doing it for 30 odd years, so I think I might have heard about that.
Here's a question for people in the chat and also for the lovely family here. Do you think that by allowing paranormal investigators in, you can take a building that's not haunted and then all of a sudden it becomes haunted just because you have it on the circuit and you're allowing people in every week for 2 nights a week?
Well, I think you go back to the Philip experiment again, don't you, where they got a house that was completely negative of any activity. Yeah. And then they introduced a ghost in there through literature. They'd written about a ghost and they planted it there and it became Philip. And then all of a sudden, Philip took on a life as his own entity. So was it a creation of a spirit, or was that a spirit that was already there and thought, hey, I'll jump on at this name Philip? And the thing is with the spirits, we're assuming they're human. We don't really know, do we? I mean, they could be any kind of energy. We don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know their abilities and their powers. They could be magical energies, for all I know, that have got access to all the information that we've ever known and ever will.
Andy's just took the words. Andy's just took the words right out my mouth.
Yeah, it's right. It's true, Andy.
Yeah.
But it's the same, I suppose, when you look at the other flip side, it can be the same for locations. People might go to strange things and then suddenly the prices bump up.
Exactly,
to prices you can't actually afford, because there was one place that I went to and it was like it cost the team, I think it was about, don't quote me, I think it was about 300, 400, and then when I went for it, it jumped up to nearly 800. Yeah. And I was like, oh, no. And that was just for one room, because Rigger, I was actually inviting Rigger's team at the time as well.
Oh, hi, Rigger.
And it went up to about £800, and I think it was just for that one room. I was like, no, I want the full shebang. I don't want the one room.
So I know of a venue before it came on to let's say the paranormal scene. Nothing ever happened there. Nothing happened in any way, shape or form. And it's quite an old place. Nearby has some history. Nearby is a little bit haunted, but that's something else. But this particular place, absolutely flat. So this person had said to me, I want to raise funds for this venue to keep it going. I'm going to make up a haunting and I'm going to run the paranormal nights there. And that is exactly what happened. This Haunting was made up. She runs paranormal nights there now, and to book it, it's not an expensive place. But now they're making money hand over fist.
And that's the thing.
Just because paranormal
that's the
people
thing.
want somewhere to go, they don't do their research beforehand.
No,
they don't
and
find out.
Exactly right, Viv. Exactly right. And I think you've hit the nail on the head there. If I had the money and I bought 2 buildings, I'd buy 2 Victorian buildings, at least Victorian.
Yeah.
That's as new as I would go. And then what I would do is I would hire them out. If I wanted to, I would hire them out as haunted properties. And you watch the money come rolling in. Because you're going to have more money doing that than you are renting it out.
If my cats weren't indoor cats, Lois, I would rent my house out Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night. My house is very, very haunted. Very haunted. And if I knew that nobody'd let my cats out, I'd let them, I'd let people come in here and I'd charge them £250 a night. You can have it all night. That's all right. I'll go and stay around my mum's. I haven't got an issue with that. Can you see how much the revenue that I would make on letting my house out? It's just ridiculous. But you know what? It's got to go through the tax man. So, the tax man's going to get a big chunk of that. And I think a lot of these venue owners...
That would actually be an interesting topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the tax man actually knows half of what goes on.
Well, this is why one house got repossessed rather than possessed, didn't it? They didn't tell the tax man that they were doing it, and all of a sudden the tax man came along and went, "Where's my chunk?" Saw it exactly what it is, Andy. Exactly. I did a house. Viv will know it. You guys will probably know it. Everybody in the chat will know it. Well, I'm not going to mention the property, but it's a very, very infamous, well-known property. It's almost coastal. It was used to incarcerate witches.
Yeah, I know the one you mean.
Supposedly haunted. A guy committed suicide in there of recent years, in the last 15, 20 years. The house was meant to be riddled with spirits, and I went there and get nothing. And everybody I'd spoke to subsequently, I think I've been there twice and got nothing. And everybody I spoke to subsequently regarding that property had nothing out of that house.
And
people that were mediums said nothing.
The remaining family members that are related to the witch that supposedly died and was incarcerated there.
Ursula, wasn't it?
Yeah. Were absolutely up in arms about it, refused
very
to
near
go there.
Jason.
Yeah. And also, they are in real big, like, they're so distraught that they're saying that the remains of this particular person is to do with the grave in Cornwall. They're saying that it's not her. It's not her. The family went absolute, and they threatened to sue them. So be careful when, if there's fraudsters out there thinking, I'm going to make up this story, and just make sure these people don't actually exist, because if they're alive today, they will come and sue you.
Yeah, the families will do it. I mean, the thing is as well with that place is that it didn't even have. It was clear from the off as soon as we got there, the person that owned it was their handout for the money.
Yeah.
And it was cash. And unfortunately for them, the taxman got wind of it, and they had to sell the property because they fell foul of the tax. They didn't pay any tax on it. And of course, it's a running business, isn't it? I can see somebody like that thinking, well, I'm doing well out of this house. What I'll do is I'll use the money and income to buy another house, and I'll set that up as a haunted property as well and get idiots to pay for it for me.
Yeah, it's true. But anyway.
Exactly, it is. Yes, it is, Gary. Exactly.
I think the Priory across the road.
My shoes were more haunted than that building.
They probably get up and walk themselves, don't they?
It's the smell that propels them.
Guys, do you want to do the one that we picked out? In fact, the one that we picked out, I'm going to put back in the jar because we haven't done that.
Right.
And I'm going to shake the jar up. The jar of doom. The jar of doom.
Yes, Jason.
I know the family had something to do with the taxman.
Yes, Jason. With the what, sorry?
The taxman coming.
Oh, really?
That was something to do with the family.
See, before we did the Jar of Doom, I think Rigger had a question. he asked, "Do you think spirits eventually
That's true,
start
David.
understanding the technology we
That's
use?
very true, David.
Sorry,
Sorry.
sorry. Say that again.
Do you think spirits eventually start understanding the technology we use?" That came for Rigger.
Not apps. They don't, because they're
No.
going to do something. They're going to do something, and if they don't want to, I don't think they will.
No.
Yeah, I think something has to be real time. I don't think you can play something through an app because there's no life force.
Can't
in the
see
app
that.
there. It's just recorded.
Dun, dun, dun.
Witches in the UK. Yay! It's
So
my
when we're
favourite
talking about, are
subject.
we talking about real witches? Or are we talking about like? I don't mean not real witches. Are we talking about what they called
Wiccan witches.
Wiccan.
Witches in the UK, the past,
Just
the
the
present,
next Tuesday.
traditional or Wiccan or all of them?
all of them.
What?
Right.
Better do some
So-
research, didn't I?
We will not have a Things Network on for me and Dan next week. Oh, yes, we will. Yes, we will. We won't be doing next Wednesday. So we can do this next week, Dan, so we're safe.
Are we investigating somewhere on Wednesday?
You're having to look after Mr. Kano.
Oh yes, we are. We're working next Wednesday, aren't we?
We are working next week.
If we're allowed, we might do a bit of a live, eh?
If we're allowed to.
If we're allowed, Sir Gary, we'll do a bit of a live.
Von's back in the chat. We want to know how your husband is. Is he
Hope
okay?
your husband's okay. Rigger says, I mean the equipment we use to help communicate. I should have mentioned that, lol.
Well, I don't think you can communicate with a spirit through a K2. A lot of people make that mistake. It measures EMFs, it's supposed to. But with regards to EMFs, you have two types. You have natural and you have man-made. But you also have a third, which people don't realise, which is a floating EMF, right? So your next door neighbour could be using, I don't know, their kettle
BB
right
radio.
right next to your wall. That EMF that they're generating from using that equipment can come through those walls and seep into your room. So your K2 will pick up on that EMF. So people that like to do this spirit communication with K2s, and I have to look at the atmosphere where they are they near a road, taxi cabs, where are their phones? Are their phones switched off completely? Because flight mode still affects equipment. You know, there's a lot of things that you have to bring into consideration. So when you say the equipment to help to communicate, it depends on your equipment. What is it that you're saying? And when you decide what equipment it is, there's a lot of factors that has to come in, that has to be brought into the equation before you can say you've had spirit communication.
Hubby's Bruce Wilcox. Oh.
Oh, bless him. I hope he's okay, Vaughn.
Oh, bless him.
I'll send him our love, won't you?
Yeah, I hope he's all right, darling.
Hope he's
Yeah.
alright.
Our love.
Mwah.
Yeah.
Poor fella.
Big kisses to hubby.
Yeah.
Not to Von, to hubby.
And Vaughn.
Get better soon.
Poor fella.
Yeah,
Yeah, Gary's just mentioned as well, is there a plane flying overhead?
Yeah,
You know.
exactly.
Do-
Loads of different bits.
Are there power lines? You know, who's that one person in your team that's left their phone on or not left it in the car?
I like the one when you get called into a pub and go, "There's activity coming up my ears here." And you walk in and there's like 300 fruit machines.
Yeah.
And you
Hello.
think,
all
and
switched
they've
on?
got electronic dishwashers. And it's like, well, yeah. Of course you got funny feelings going through you. Look at the amount of electricity that's going off.
And
Yeah.
the classic one is, did you hear that? Did you hear that? And it's the ice cube machine that's cracking off, that's
Yeah.
going off throughout the night.
Or one that
So
threw
it's
me, I
funny.
didn't even know about them. They just come on the market and I was shat myself. I mean, what's going on here? What's going on here? And every 2 seconds,
Oh,
it
yeah.
was when them smell things came out in the bathrooms.
Yeah.
Oh, the haze thing.
I remember doing an investigation, Dan, and we're all piled in the ladies' toilet, and I'm standing there minding my own business, and all of a sudden, in the back of my head, I felt, and that noise. I thought somebody's just spat in the back of my head, you know. Turn the lights on. It was that air freshener thing. My hair smelled really lovely. For the rest of the
investigation, when they came out, they were just stuck them there, didn't they?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, she's a lovely smell of roses. And yeah, that'd be the air freshener.
Lavender. Oh,
lavender.
That must be the spirit of the woman wearing lavender.
The old girl.
Oh, bless you. Oh.
Exactly, Gary, exactly.
So, yeah, it's...
Oh, I'm sure he is in good hands, Von. I'm sure he is, bless him.
It's not nice. Do you know what? I fell over the other day. I felt like a right idiot. I laid there. I just laid there. I was in the house on my own. I laid there for a couple of minutes just thinking, I can't believe I've just done that. I hope nobody's watching me. Like, I'm in the house on my own. Of course nobody's watching me. And even if Andy was here, he wouldn't get up to help me. He'd just sit there and laugh. So he's lucky to have you, Von.
I used to see these things years ago, and I used to think, oh, people, how comes they're always falling over? This is ridiculous. Falling over? You can keep on your feet. Now I've started doing it. And I'm laying there and looking up at the sky thinking, oh, right, that's how it happens.
Yeah, you broke bones, Dan.
I'm always breaking bones.
Yeah. Oh.
I did a count up since I was a kid, the amount of bones I broke. And it counted up to 28.
Oh, God.
28 bones I broke over the years.
2.
I have done, Jason. Yeah, I have done.
Don't like him. Don't like him.
One or two are all right.
The only one I will use, and I will freely state this, is Echovox. And there's a reason why. Because my brother's voice, and he's got a distinct voice, was heard through that Echovox 5 years after his death.
Yeah.
And it wasn't on my piece of equipment. I had sent somebody to his grave that I had never even visited. And she was the one that was recorded it and sent it to me. And I played it to my mum when I... Excuse me.
You all right?
I heard... Oh, God. I love Pia. So she played it. I played it to my mum. And she just burst into tears.
Oh, God.
Because she recognised that voice. So that's the only one that I will endorse is Echovox. All the rest are just crap. Sorry. Oh, too much talking. Dan never gets that though, does he?
No. Because I'm quiet.
My arse.
Your arse is quiet. That's only no.
Sorry?
Mine isn't.
Oh my God. That must be scary.
Bless him.
Bless him.
He'll come good. He'll do good.
Be all right.
He'll do good.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
They're all talking about Echovox. Gary says Echovox is very good.
Yeah, the only thing with Echovox is people get obsessed with it, don't they?
Yeah,
As
you
we
have
know,
to.
don't we, Viv?
I would watch the YouTube videos on it, and Danny himself tells you how to set your levels on it and how to get the best out of Echovox. But I would suggest before you go out and use it on an investigation, watch the YouTube advert tutorials, have a play with it first before you would start incorporating it as part of your investigations. But as regards to the other apps, and that's every single app that's on the market, they're all pre-programmed words, and they do listen to what you are talking about. They also tap into your GPS system.
They do. They don't they? They circumnavigate where you are.
All these apps are absolutely crap. I'm sorry, but they are.
Yeah, they do. They are. They can circumnavigate where you are, and send information through that's prevalent to that area.
Yeah.
So, for
See,
example,
Necrophonic would do the same.
Yeah, if it was France, if it was a French building, then it would come through with French words because it would pick up the historic history of it and then feed you through information that's relevant to that spot. So you're not dealing with a spirit, you're dealing with a bit of AI.
Yeah, and you should have your phone off on an investigation anyway.
Yeah, you
your
should.
tablets and that
You
sort
should.
of thing. It shouldn't be.
Yeah, Alex be good. He's a good lad, is Alex.
Yeah.
I hope he's coming back soon.
Right, so we are running close to the end of the show, guys. We've been on an hour and a half.
Thanks, everyone.
That once the 4 years are together, we can't stop talking. We just go on.
I know.
As I said, a Friday show is the end to go by. Do you know? It was so funny. As soon as we finished, he was like, "Thank God I could hear these in my ears." They could still hear me laughing. They were laughing. It was so funny.
But we can talk. We can
Thank
talk
you,
for
Jason.
England, though. We can talk for England, can't we? Can't we, Parker?
We can. We can.
What? Sorry,
Much to most people's upset.
Parker, speak. I can't hear you. You're breaking. Parker.
What?
What?
I need a translator.
Parker,
What?
what are those two words we don't say to Dan?
Down the market.
Oh, thank you, Dan and Market. Thank you, Jill Fennick. Much appreciate that. Come along in future.
Thank
We're
you,
here
Jill.
all week, and I mean all week.
So we're on.
Oh,
Parker's on.
bloody hell, William. That's hot, mate.
Oh.
Don't feel sorry for him. He's got aircon.
Get that aircon on. Stay inside,
Oh.
William.
Right,
So
I'm going to go
tomorrow
anyway,
night-
guys.
Take
Tomorrow
it easy, Jay.
I'll see you later.
Hey,
Take it
honey.
easy, buddy.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
tomorrow night we have Jesse Craig New on Simply Spooky. On Simply Spooky.
Sorry, I just saw
Plus-
something, Gary.
So we have Jesse Craig New on Simply Spooky tomorrow at 8 o'clock. And on Friday on Simply Spooky, there is the Friday night Frighteners show, Lois's show, Frighteners. But she's not coming on Friday because she's having to go to work.
working.
That's fair enough.
So
But
I'll
we're holding the fort.
be doing a lot of what in Glasgow. That's just the downtime. Fine.
We'll be holding the fort for Lois.
So, yes, so we'll be back on Friday. I don't know if is Jamie back on Friday or is he probably working, isn't he?
I think he's working on Friday. So it's just me and you, Dan, on Friday.
Just us.
It's
What
the
are we talking about
parents
on Friday.
and the children have run away.
Bye,
Good night,
bye.
Von. Take it easy. They can't keep up with us oldies. Take it easy, Von. Make sure the hubby's better.
I'm
Send him our love.
saying nothing.
Thanks, Jill.
And for those that don't know, Things Network are running
Hold
a
on.
poll. If you go on the Things Network page on Facebook, they're asking you to vote for your favourite show. Please vote for the Simply Spooky crew. There's been a lot of support for us so far, and I don't know when this finishes, but if you could support us, I think it's a couple of days left.
I've actually gone all out and I've thought up a great motto for people to vote us. We might be shit, but we're all you've got.
We thank you for your support, everyone. Take care of yourselves
thanks,
in the
Mom.
chat.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch
Okay.
you next week with Witches in the UK here on the Things
Stay
Network.
safe,
channel.
look out for each other, but more importantly, keep out the heat if it gets too hot.
Yes.
Keep well hydrated and look out for each other. See you later, guys.
Bye.